rock it like a baby in the car. I put the water in the ocean in the city that I'm from.
What's goody, guys? Welcome back to Wine Down with Books with your girl Kay. As you can see by the title, we are reviewing Curvy Girl Summer. So this is by Daniel Allen. I'm gonna put it somewhere in the video because I read the book on my Kindle, right? Anyways, how are you guys doing? What's goody, guys? I know the last video I did was like 3 weeks ago. It's summertime, so you already know how that go. But I hope you guys are doing well, going places. I really do miss you guys. Shout out to everyone who continue to watch my videos, support me. I appreciate you guys. But anyways, we're just gonna jump right into the video. I have my notes right here. Right, this book I read a couple months ago, maybe like 2 months ago. What did I rate this book? I rated this book. I want to say I give it like 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. So recently I have been reading a lot of romances because my friend says that I need to change up what I'm reading. However, I can say without a doubt, I do not care for romance books. I don't care if they black romances, white romances, Latino romances, Asian romances. Romance is not for me. And the reason why romance is not for me, because I get annoyed a lot of the times, especially with the books I've been reading, with like the back and forth question of, does he or she love me? Why doesn't she love me? But the signs right there, they gazing each other faces, they texting each other, sexting each other, all that extra stuff. You gotta question if he likes you or not, or she likes you or not, when you know the signs are there. That's the part that annoys me, because some things are just obvious or common sense. And like I feel like sometimes the authors drag those parts of the books on, like the banter and the questioning, for too many chapters, and then I start to get annoyed. And I'm like, all right. And for me, it takes away from the character's story, and then I start to not like the characters. This is because I'm like, why are you so ditzy? So that's why I like romance and stuff like that. I'm not a huge romance fan because of that. But anyways, with Curvy Girl Summer, one thing I really enjoyed about this book was like the back and forth banter between the main characters, Ahmed and Aaliyah. It was funny. Not the I think he likes me, he don't like me, not that part. But like their conversation, verbatim, all like the dialogue. Oh my gosh, super funny. Both characters were funny, so I'm like, okay, like that's what really drew me into the book, because both of their characters were extremely funny. All right, but anyways, let me get you background. So Aaliyah is 29. She is approaching her 30th birthday. Aaliyah is a curvy, voluptuous woman, right? She's beautiful. She has a lot going on for her. She's smart. She's driven. She's just, she's trying to, in her mind, accomplish a goal, right? And one of her main goals to accomplish before she turns 30 is to have a boyfriend. She wants to have a boyfriend. She's into that, having a boyfriend, finding a husband, having a family type vibe, right? And she's very confident in her body. She wears outfits typically that another voluptuous, or if you want, like heavier set woman, whatever you want to call it, would not wear. She's very confident. When she rocks it, she rocks it. I'm just gonna start up by saying, any woman, any size, any body type, whatever you are, if you wear it, you have the confidence, and you don't give a damn about what nobody says, baby, I mean, that too, but if you don't wear it, and if you have low self-esteem, whatever, you're still beautiful no matter how you are, right? You are still beautiful. And if you want to make some changes, make the changes. Be safe making the changes, but however, make the changes, right? Your beauty, to me, does not equate to your physical appearance. I feel like your beauty equates to how you are internally and how you carry that out externally, right? So, I feel like you can have a beautiful woman and her attitude sucks, you ugly to me. That's just how I feel, right? So anyways, definitely, in this day and age, modern day, like us women, we have to do, I feel like, this is my opinion, we have to do extra more to love ourselves because of how social media perceives women. And it's been like that, but it's just like nowadays it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But anyways, the only reason why I mentioned more voluptuous women who are in the heavier set side, because this book tries to downgrade women who are bigger. Basically, if you are a heavier, voluptuous woman, curvy woman, whatever you want to say, what they be using the term BBW, right? That if you don't know how to dress and if you don't have confidence, then you're not pretty. Or they'll say certain stuff like, oh, you pretty for a big girl. Like, what does that even mean? You feel me? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what? Or you could dress for a big girl, or you wearing that for a big girl. Gotta chill with that. Gotta chill with that. Gotta chill with that. Because I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Chill out. But anyways, that's why I brought up that part. But yeah, so Aaliyah is, in the book, they do say, I could have sworn they said like BBW, voluptuous, curvy woman, whatever she is. She's a heavier set woman. She got curves. She could dress. She wears her weight with confidence, and she just doesn't care. She's comfortable in her skin, and that was the main thing about the character that I like. I love that about Aaliyah's character. No matter what nobody said about her weight, she stood her ground. She stood tall, and she wore that. So shout out to Danielle Allen for writing the character like that. So anyways, yes, so before her 30th birthday, she wants to get a boyfriend, right? So she went through like a breakup. And during that time, like, she'll go back to her ex primarily just for sex, right? And she realized the last time that they had sex, that she realized why they broke up and like why, you know, they could just never be. And she attracted a lot of F-boys. When I mean F-boys, like not even men, F-boys. And like the stuff that they would say, it's not surprising because you hear it every day. Like, but it's just like reading it and seeing it on words is like a totally different experience. Well, at least for me, right? Because I hear it. I'm from New York. Men are disrespectful. They don't understand those. So you hear a lot of stuff, right? However, reading it in a book was just making me men. Like, these men had a lot of audacity. And if you don't follow me on TikTok, I do an audacity series over there on TikTok about men. So, you know, I'm about to put this one up. So go over there, check me out, check out the previous videos. Anyways, yes. So she has a friend, right? And her friend is telling her, like, you know, you gotta get out there. You want to find a man before your 30th birthday. How you gonna do that if you just be in the house and you're not looking? So she's like, all right, cool, yeah, wooty woo. They end up sending her, she ends up setting up an online dating profile, right? Right across the street from her house is like a new bar. She goes there, and she likes the atmosphere. I'm just gonna pause there real quick, right? So back to Aaliyah. So Aaliyah had an older sister who passed away when she was pregnant. Her older sister was married. Her older sister had a very athletic build body, right? Aaliyah has a mother, Aaliyah has a father, Aaliyah has uncles, grandfathers. Like, she has a close-knit family. However, the family continues to compare Aaliyah to her sister. And not only career-wise, but they compare her body type and her love life, all that extra stuff, right? And the person who had the audacity in the book the most, and like, if I could like choke a character out this year, would be Aaliyah's uncle. The disrespect, the covetousness that he showed for her pissed me off to the max. So he would say stuff like, oh, your sister got a man because she took care of her health, she exercised, she was skinny, and then they equate her being, because Aaliyah is on the curvy side, that she's not pretty enough, or if she is pretty enough, that her prettiness is not showing, her beauty's not showing because she's bigger and she needs to lose weight, right? So the uncle would tell her stuff like that. And the uncle would be like, you know, it's your weight the reason why you can't find a man. No man wants no bigger. Like, he's straight up telling this to his niece, and it was pissing me off. I'm like, yo, like, how do you say that to your niece? Like, the disrespect that he's like, oh, I'm just trying to help her. I love her. So, and then the uncle keeps equating love to disrespect. Right? He felt like he could just say whatever he wanted to Aaliyah and that would be okay, right? And it wasn't. And then he would throw in her face like, oh, I have a boat. So he had a yacht, right? And before Aaliyah's sister died, he had gifted the yacht to the sister, but obviously the sister died. He took the yacht back. He basically told Aaliyah, like, if you don't have a man by the time you turn 30, like, I'm not gifting you the yacht because that's showing me that you're not responsible and you can't, I don't want to gift no yacht to no single woman. Like, how do you sound, bro? Like, all her responsibilities, her career, all that is dependent on a stingy ass man. Like, get up out my face. Like, her life is equal only if she had equal. I said equal. Her life is only meaningful if she only has a man in her life. Half the time men be messing up us women. Okay, destroying us. So what are you talking about? And he's a prime example. And then on top of that, he had the nerve. He been married 3 times, and none of his women sticked around. You are the problem, sir. You are the problem. So yeah, he had like the audacity, like the stuff that he would say. It really, really just pissed me off. So yeah, I did not like his character. I did not like his character one bit. And I'm just gonna say this, like, Aaliyah was throwing a big party for her 30th birthday, and she uninvited her uncle because she had enough. And then on top of that, like, the family, they were kind of stick up for her. More so the grandmother was stick up for her. But it's like the parents, like, you hear, and then it's the mother's brother. You hear your brother talking crazy about your daughter, yo, bro, put him in his place. Why did he? I don't care if I'm close to my uncle. My uncle saying some crazy stuff to me, I expect my parents to put my uncle in his place because that is your brother or whatever. So the fact that they wasn't really doing that, she had to keep standing up for herself, that really pissed me off. And then on top of that, they kept trying to set her up with another dude, right? Granted, the dude that they was trying to set her up, you know, he seemed like a chill dude, good vibe, handsome from what the book said, but it just wasn't given. All right, so boom. Aaliyah starts the dating profile. And then she starts meeting them at the bar across the street from her house. The reason being is that because when she went to the bar the first time, she met Ahmad. Ahmad is at the time the bartender, right? But he owns the bar with him, his sister, his family, whatever. So like, Aaliyah was a little rude the first time they met. She said something mean, he said something back. It was a back and forth banter, and then she felt bad about it. She ended up going back to the bar, and then he was just Ahmad was telling her, like, you know, this is the reason why certain things happen because of your attitude, and if you carry on like that, you know, you'll never find a man. So after that, Aaliyah liked like his directness, his straightforwardness, and at first you would think that he's being an asshole, but Aaliyah was being an asshole, but she was just having a bad time because of the date that she experienced. So of course, like, it wasn't gonna work out. So he basically tells her, okay, you have this dating app, you're going on this dating app, why don't you meet your dates here? Because you want to find a boyfriend, right? But you don't feel safe going to different places. So I will be here to protect you while you're on the date, watch you while you're on the date, make sure that you're good. So she's like, why would you do that for me? They had made amends, wooty woo. But again, like, it's like little jokes that they were throwing there, which made it cute. So she takes him up on his offer, right? So she goes, every time she goes on a date, it's like on a Friday night. She sits in the same place for the most part. They talk for a few, and then her dates come in. So I wrote down a couple dates, right? So she went on a date with a dude named Mike. So Mike told her that he doesn't usually go for girls who are thick. He said fat as well, right? But he chose her because there was something about her, right? And then when she, you know, there's meaning behind words. So as he's talking and he's saying these things, basically like it's like a trophy to get a bigger girl, or like he's doing her a favor. So after she's just like, yeah, no, like, I'm not feeling this. He was like, you should be happy that I hit you up and I took you on a date. He called her fat. He called her a big back. He called her a fat bitch, sorry, and then he called her a big back. Her uncle also called her a big back, right? So Aaliyah, she got thick skin. However, like, that, I don't want to say that cut her deep, but it did touch her. And it was like during those times when she's on the date, Ahmed will be watching and Ahmed will come to the rescue, right? I'm fast forwarding a lot of these things for the sake of the video. She also went on another date with Braden Storm, right? So Braden basically came in with the flowers. Okay, he had good game. They was talking for a minute. Like, he came in, he was handsome, all that wooty woo, right? you would think Braden is like her person. She's feeling him. All of a sudden, right? Braden, well, before they met, Braden said that he had a wife. The wife died. So she had a soft spot for him because he's a widow. Next thing you know, they're on a date. A woman comes up and pops up at the bar, starts arguing with Braden, and then she wants to start like low key throwing shots at Aaliyah. Aaliyah's like, hold on, bitch, like I'm not the one, right? And he was like, oh, chill out, this is my colleague. And then the wife was like, colleague? Turns out Braden is married. So, you meet a lot of men on these apps who put up a different persona, who's liars, who really just want sex, right? Point of fact, I hate the apps. I just hate the apps. So yeah, that was another date that she went on. So she went on a whole bunch of dates who were just disrespectful, or they turned out to be good. She also went on another date. I forgot what his name was, but she went on a date. She really did start feeling this guy, right? And he was respectful. They went out a couple times. But what she didn't know in that moment was that when they went out, he did all the talking. He only talked about herself. He never asked about Aaliyah. So he was very self-centered. And Ahmed was the one to point that out. So while Aaliyah's going on all these dates, right? During the times that they're going on a date, Aaliyah will go to the bar. Of course, like I said, they would talk. Her and Ahmed would talk. They got to know each other. Aaliyah's getting in deep about certain things. Ahmed is wearing a ring on his hand, so she automatically assumed that he's married. One, he never said that he was married, but based upon the ring, he says, it implies that he's married. And then at one point, he had told, he had showed his ring. I forgot exactly what. He had showed his ring and was like, I'm taking something along those lines, right? And then, he would talk to a woman, or a woman would come around, and Aaliyah assumed that that woman was his wife. So she knew that he was off the table because it implied he wore a ring that he was married or is married. So, but they will flirt, the tension between the two will always be at a high. And it was just the way he looked at her, the way she looked at him, it was there. And when they would go back and forth, it was isn't it the conversation didn't seem as if he was married, right? But he would always be respectful, and the way he moved, it was half and half. I don't know how to really explain it. So she really was catching feelings for him, and you could tell through the book that he's catching feelings for her. So some of the times that she would go on a date, he would be like, yo, you undeserving of that. You deserve this. He didn't like certain he didn't like some of the dudes that she went on a date with. He also gave her special treatment to an extent. So you could tell that he was really in love with her. So I'm like, oh, there got to be something up. Like I said, Ahmed's sister works at the bar. So one day Ahmed wasn't there, and then Aaliyah had ran out. This was after a day or whatever. The sister had caught up with Aaliyah. I have something had happened in between. Again, I don't remember all the details, but something had happened in between. And the sister told Aaliyah, I see, the connection between you and my brother, what's going on there? You're good for him. And then Aaliyah was like, your brother's married. And the sister was like, no, he's not. So Aaliyah was like, well, he wears a ring. How could he not be married? And the sister was like, I said too much. You got to ask Ahmed about that. And then Aaliyah feels betrayed. I also should mention that Aaliyah and Ahmed lives in the same building. So Aaliyah goes back and tells her best friend he's the sister said he's not married, but he wears a ring. He told me he was married. And then the best friend was like, well, did he tell you that he was married, or did he, did you assume that he was married? And then she was like, you guys are close. Y'all can see yourself little besties or whatever. Just talk to him. She's like, no, why would I talk to a liar? This, that, and the third. So she starts avoiding him. Then next thing you know, he doesn't like them avoiding each other. Aaliyah had one on a date. Wooty woo, and fast forward, they have the conversation. Come to find out that he was engaged, right? He was engaged to a beautiful woman. And they got into a car accident and she died. Then the night they got into a car accident, they got into an argument, right? And he kind of blamed himself for a while. And because of the car accident, he has PTSD, which he hasn't driven a car in a while, right? So there's all that. And Ahmed is also aware that, she was planning her birthday, etc., etc., etc. So, they make amends, but Aaliyah is just Okay. So Ahmed also at some point in the book had introduced Aaliyah to his friends, and the reason why he did that, it was to show like there are still good men in the world. There are still respectful men. There are still men who know how to treat and speak to a woman. And you know, they went out to the club, they had fun, they was dancing on each other. Basically, like everybody was like, yeah, nah, y'all got a connection with the woo. And Ahmed would get annoyed when one of his friends would try to holler at Aaliyah, but the friend was playing around, but he really I feel like he really was feeling Aaliyah. So Ahmed was like, yeah, nah, right? And then Aaliyah will say something flirty back, but she was really feeling Ahmed, right? So there's that. So now we're gonna fast forward. They not really feeling each other. Something else had happened with the woo in the book. Aaliyah's party come around. Aaliyah at one point had lied to her family, said that she was dating somebody. But the whole point, she had told her family prior to this early in the book that she had a boyfriend. She was bringing him to the 30th party. The uncle was like, oh yeah, I want to see this. And then I told you that she uninvited the uncle, whatever. So the 30th party comes around. She had the dinner, the party at the Airbnb, woo, right? And she basically is like, listen, I don't have a man. I don't care for a man. She actually had to talk with her parents too. Was like, listen, she was going through life scared. And the reason why she's going through life scared because her sister died her sister died at 30, right? So what Aaliyah's fear was that the reason why she needed to get a man and do and achieve all these things because she was scared that her time will end when she turns 30, like her sister. Like her sister's death really hit her hard because they were so close, right? And then when like the parents heard that, it was like tears, all that tears, woo, and they had to like dumb it down a little bit, like let my sis live, like she's going through this trauma. Y'all lost your daughter, yes, but y'all also gonna lose Aaliyah in your trauma, because they was in a sense trying to replace Aaliyah with the sister and the daughter that was lost, right? And Aaliyah was like, y'all can't keep doing this to me. So one thing I could say, like, Aaliyah was strong-minded. She was resilient through a lot, but she stood up for herself and she stood on business. Like, that's what I liked about her character. What I didn't like in the book was like when she would talk to her best friend, like all the signs that Aaliyah and Ahmed liked each other was there. Like at one point they had sex she was on a date with the same guy that Ahmed was like, yeah, that's not for you, who's self-centered. She went to the bathroom, he cornered her, they go into the office, they talk with you, they start kissing, they end up having sex there, and then something else happened, and then they start beefing again. And that's when he really realized, like, I feel like he realized he liked her a long time ago. And throughout the book, again, I'm fast forward, like, she was short for him, he was short for her. He had gotten into an accident with like an Uber driver. Instead of going on a date, she ended up instead of going on a date, she ended up going to the hospital, checking on him, staying with him. And then he really liked that about her, right? So they would do little stuff like that. But again, it was like the questioning and back and forth, like, he doesn't like me, and his best friend's like, yes he does, like, look how he moves. And it was the same thing for him. I was just like, yeah, oh my gosh, girl, like, why you can't see it? We all can see it. So anyways, now at the 30th party, she's dancing. The dude that the mother was trying to set her up with was at the party. And then Ahmed decides that he's gonna pop up when it's time for her to, like, Aaliyah to do like the little dance on the floor. And she's like, what are you doing here? He pops up with like his suit matching her dress, like, it was very thoughtful. He's like, listen, like, I want you, I love you, I even drove here. And she's like, you drove here? Again, he was scared of driving, and he conquered his fear of driving while going to different houses. I forgot where the party was, but it was different houses. He had to find the house where they was at the party, and he conquered his fear of driving because that's how much he loved Aaliyah, wanted to be with Aaliyah. And yeah, and I thought that part was cute, like a man or woman conquering the true fear for love. That's deep right there, because nobody's gonna do that, especially no man is gonna do something that they don't want to do unless they want to do it. So the fact that he did that spoke volumes, and that really got Aaliyah. They have sex or whatever, and yeah, so that's how they end up together, and that's the story. So I give it a 3.5 because, like I said, I fast forward a lot of it. Like, but if you read the book, like, you will get annoyed with the whole back and forth banter. Like, but as far as like Aaliyah's character. I liked her character. I like the Med's character. You can tell he's very respectful. However, sometimes it gave off like Ahmed thought he knew too much, or like he could be very vague and invasive at times, versus Aaliyah spilling like her heart out and she's telling him everything and she's opening up, but yet he was holding back a lot of times. And honestly speaking, he could have told with the whole ring situation, yes, that was still a traumatic experience that he went through. But if Aaliyah's spilling her heart to you and you know that she made a comment like you're married or something like that, and not once did he correct her, that's, in my opinion, that's where I felt like he went wrong. Because yes, you didn't say that you were married. You wear a ring that implies that you were married. You had said something at the bar, but then Aaliyah said twice that something about you being married and you didn't correct her. Now, yeah, I get why she felt betrayed, because if I'm implying something and it's not true, why are you not correcting me? And that's the part that really pissed me off, and I don't think he really recognized that, and that's what was like annoying. However, with his character, he was very respectful male. The way Daniel Allen wrote him a man that's very attractive, got himself together, know what he wants. So that's the type of man a woman could dream of. But other than that, I'm gonna say that men and women, because women like women, men like women, men like men, whatever, need to respect partners, need to stop looking at the outside for beauty, and look in the inside. Because like I said, you could meet someone that's drop dead gorgeous, drop dead handsome, and then the way they carry themselves, their personality, their goals, their emotional intelligence, their mental capacity, cognitive ability, all that is not intact, and you are not gonna like the person. So if you basing your dating pool, or you basing your love on physical appearance, good luck to you. That's all I'm gonna say is good luck to you. You need to like a person for who they are, and Ahmed really did like Aaliyah off rip for who she was. Like, he liked that she stood on business. He liked that she kind of knew what she wanted, and he liked a feisty woman. And he liked a woman who wasn't gonna stand down, who could hold her end with jokes, right? But yeah, that's how the story went. I gave it a 3.5. But yeah, romances is not for me. If you read this book, tell me what you think about this book. A lot of people really enjoyed the book. They gave it like 4 stars. I gotta see what like the sum of it is on Goodreads, but it's a good quick read. I read this book quick. It was a good quick read. But yeah, other than that, I've been reading romances lately. I'm just gonna go back to my regular thrillers. But until next time, guys, your girl is out.